So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I am here to help you during the NPTEL tutorial session, which is NOC EE62 Basic Electronics, and the instructor is Professor Mahesh B. Patil, and this course duration is 12 weeks. So starting from this Tuesday, every Tuesday we will meet from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So basically, I am from IIT Bombay, and I am working in the gallium nitride based MMIC for satellite communication. So I have done my MTech from IIT Patna, and then I have joined in uh, PhD program in IIT Bombay, and I am a PMRF fellow. So according to our PMRF fellowship, we have to run the NPTEL tutorial. So for this course, I am the assigned course TA. So basically, I will start to solving this problem. So this is basically the week one assignment one. This is not the current year assignment, rather than it is the previous year assignment. So we have picked up all the assignment one problems related to that, and we will try to solve each of the assignments, each of the questions of the assignments. So for this question one, it is asked like, in the circuit shown in the image, what is the Thevenin voltage as seen from AB? So basically, what is the Thevenin voltage? I hope that you all gone through the lectures of Professor Mahesh Patil. So basically, this Thevenin voltage is nothing but you just simplify the circuit to a simplest form, which is nothing but the voltage source and equivalent resistance. This is known as the Thevenin voltage, and this is known as the RTH is known as the Thevenin resistance. So basically, what we need to do, just one second. Yeah. So for this session, you need to find the Thevenin equivalent voltage looking from the AB side. So basically, to solve this problem, first of all, you need to know about the source transformation theorem, and also two basic concepts, what is known as the voltage division, and what is the current division. So basically, suppose there is a 5 volt voltage, and there is some resistance, let us consider 3 ohm and 2 ohm. So this 5 volt voltage will appear, some of the voltage will appear across 3 ohm, and some of the voltage will appear across the 2 ohm. So what is the voltage across 2 ohm? That we can find like 5 into 2 divided by 2 plus 3. That means this voltage multiplied with this resistance divided by the total resistance, that is 3 plus 2. So it will like 5 into 2 by 5, 5 cancels out, and it will come as 2 volt. So that means here 2 volt will come, and similarly here it will come like 3 volt, because according to the KVL this is 5 volt. So 5 and this is 2 volt will appear here. So according to the KVL rule, the rest of the voltage 3 volt will appear here. You can also use the same voltage divider rule, 5 into that resistance divided by 5, that is the total resistance. So 5 cancel out, so it will come as 3 volt. So 3 volt is coming. So this is basically the voltage division formula. And now we will talk about the current division. So what is the current division? Suppose we have an independent current source 5 ampere, and we have two resistances which are in parallel. So how do you know that it is parallel? Because current is flowing from here, because this is the 5 ampere, so 5 ampere current, the direction is over there, so it will flow from here, and some current will flow from this side and some current will flow from that side. So suppose this is 3 ohm and this is 2 ohm. So the current across 3 ohm we can find by this current, that is the 5 ampere, 5 into the other resistance, that is 2, divided by the total resistance, that is the 5. So it will come as 2 ampere. So remember one thing, if you know about the current division rule, so you should apply always this current source multiplied by other resistance. But here voltage division, you will just write this resistance across which the voltage need to be find. So this is 5 into 2, this is 2 ampere. So 2 ampere is flowing through 3 ohm resistance. So here it is 2 ampere, this is flowing. And the according to the KCL note, you know that this node and this node have the same are the same nodes. So 2 ampere if flow this side, this will come as 3 ampere. You can also find from the current division rule, I across 2 ohm is nothing but 5 into 3 divided by 5. So it will come near about 3 ohm. So sorry, 3 ampere. So one more thing you need to know before solving this problem, that is known as a source transformation. Source transformation. So if you have a simple voltage source, that is V, and across there is some resistance R, and suppose there are rest of the circuit, but you can equivalently write the circuit. Just one second. Sorry. So you can equivalently transform this voltage source to the current source, where these are the same resistance will appear in parallel with this current source, and the value of this current source will nothing but the V by R. Always remember. Similarly, it is true for the vice versa case also. Suppose there is a current source which is nothing but I, if it is I, and there is a resistance parallel to it. So you can write IR will be the voltage source, and the resistance should be R. So do you have any question till now? If you have any question, please raise your hand. I will unmute you and you can ask. Okay. So I will move forward. So for this question, here they are asking about what is the Thevenin voltage seen from AB. So Thevenin voltage is nothing but the voltage seen from the A and B terminal, that is this open voltage, open circuit voltage. This the open circuit voltage, whatever we are seeing the open circuit voltage from there, that is known as the Thevenin voltage. To solve this problem, we will do step by step. So according to the voltage transformation, I have already told you the source transformation. So we are going to make this voltage source and with series with the resistance, that to the current source. So it will appear like, so there will be a current source, and sorry, so this resistance will come with parallel. So what is this value of the current source? So here you can see it is 5 volt and here it is 5k. So 5 volt divided by 5k, 5 volt divided by 5k, that means 1 milliampere. So 1 milliampere current source will be this, and the same resistance will appear in this side, so this will be similarly 5k, and the rest of the circuit remains the same. That means this is here also, this is 1 ampere, here it has 2.2 kilo ohm, here 1.5k, here 4.7k, and here 3.3k. So see one thing, that it is a node, it is also a node. These four nodes are basically the same node. We can denote it with the single node because there are no resistance or something like that. So the voltage across these nodes are same. So in this node, this 1 ampere current is coming and this 1 ampere current is coming. So equivalently we can write this circuit as 2 milliampere and then the resistance as 5k. So this 1 and 1 makes 2, then 5k, then 2.2k here, and then 1.5k, here it has 4.7k and 3.3k. So now see this part 5k and 2, if so 5k and 2k comes parallel, because if we flow if there is a node and there is a actually these two resistance across the same two node, you understood, right? This node and this node are the same, and this node and this node are the same because there are no resistor in between that, or no circuit element is between that. So basically this 5k and 2.2k comes parallel, so 5k parallel 2.2k. So the equivalent resistance will be 5 into 2.2 divided by, just a second, so 5 into 2.2 divided by 5 plus 2.2. So I hope that everyone has a scientific calculator. In this course it is really necessary to have a scientific calculator. So can anyone just answer me what is the result? Can anyone? Can anyone quickly tell me what is the result? You can raise your hand and I will unmute you. Okay, so basically this is coming 1.528 kilo ohm. So this 5k and 2.2k makes 1.528. So we can draw the circuit as, this is the 2 milliampere, this is 1.528, and then 1.5, and then 4.7k, and here it will be 3.3k. So this node is A and this node is B. So now it is easy to find that what is the voltage across this AB. How? This current, some of the current will go through here, and rest of the current will flow through this, and as this resistance is open, so no current will be flow through this, that is I equal to 0. So basically this current, suppose this is I1 and this is I2, so this I2 current will flow through this 4.7. So already I have discussed the current division rule. So basically the current flowing through I2, if we determine the current flowing through the I2, that is 4.7 kilo ohm, then we can multiply that I2 current with 4.7 kilo ohm to find the equivalent resistance, the VAB, that is the Thevenin resistance. So I2 will come out to be like 2 milliampere into, so I have already told, like we have to multiply with this resistance 1.528 divided by 1.528 plus the rest of the resistance. Rest of the resistance are in series, so 1.5 and 4.7. So 1.5 plus 4.7. So basically after doing this, the current will come around 0.395. So that milliampere current will flow, that is the I2, and the rest of the current you can that is flow from the I1. So so now we already determined the current I2. So what is the voltage across VAB? Because this is through this resistance no current is flowing, so this node and this node are the same node. So the current multiply with resistance, that will give the V2. So VAB, or it is the same as the Thevenin voltage, it will be determined by 0.395 milliampere multiplied with 4.7 kilo ohm. So it will come 1.86 volt. So this is nothing but the Thevenin equivalent voltage. Sorry. So this 1.86 volt will come as the, so here in this given option, option 2, 1.86 volt, this is the correct answer. So this is nothing but the Thevenin equivalent voltage. So do you have any doubt regarding this question? If you have any doubt, then you may ask so that I can explain. Please raise your hand, I will unmute you and then you can speak. Okay, as you don't have any doubt, so I am moving forward. Uh, Question number 2, it is the same circuit, and here it is asked, like in the circuit of question 1, what is the Thevenin resistance as seen from AB? So according to the, to find the Thevenin resistance, so you have to find the Thevenin resistance. So you should look from this side AB, and you should deactivate the voltage source and the current source. Deactivate means you should make the voltage source 0 and the current source also 0. So voltage source 0 means nothing but there should not be any voltage, so this will appear as a short circuit, and current source 0 means there will be no flow of current, so basically that can be written as open circuit. So this is open circuit and this is nothing but the short circuit. So basically the circuit, so I am just redrawing the circuit considering the Vs as short circuit and Is as open circuit. So here it is Vs, so it is coming as a short circuit, and then here 5 kilo ohm. Here it will come as a open circuit. Here it is 2.2 kilo ohm. Here 1.5 kilo ohm. 4.7 kilo ohm, and this is 3.3 kilo ohm. So this is A and this is B. So we should look from this side, what is the Thevenin resistance. So if there is any current flow from this side A and B, if we put a voltage source across it, the current will flow from this side. So current will flow to this node and then it will divide, so this part, and then this current will divide across this part and this part. So see, whatever current is flowing through the 1.5K, suppose I am considering this as I, this is the I1, this is the I2, this is the I3, and this is the I4. So whatever the I2 is current is flowing, that is dividing across 2.2 and then 5K, and then it is meeting again here. So basically this 2.2 and 5 are in parallel. So 5K parallel 2.2K. So this parallel equivalent resistance will come as 5 into 2.2 divided by 7.2. So we have already calculated this, that is 1.528. So 1.528 kilo ohm. So now the circuit is reduced to 1.528 kilo ohm, 1.5 kilo ohm, 4.7 kilo ohm, and 3.3 kilo ohm. So now 1.528 and 1.5 are in series, because whatever current will flow from this side, the same current will flow from this resistance also. Just one second. Okay, so whatever, yeah, sorry. So whatever current is flowing from this side, so whatever current is flowing from this side, the same current will flow through this. So these two basically are the series. Series means the same, if the current flow through the resistors are same, then that will come as series. And what is the parallel? Parallel means the voltage across two resistor if come as same, then it will be in parallel. So the current is in series, so 1.5 plus 1.528, these two resistance are in series, and these two resistance is parallel with this 4.7 kilo ohm. So the equivalent resistance till this side we can write as 4.7 is parallel with 1.5 plus 1.528. So that will come, as 4.7 multiplied with 1.5 plus 1.528 divided by 4.7 plus 1.5 plus 1.528. So after the calculation, so this will come like uh, 1 point, just 1 second, I am using the calculator. 1.5 plus 1.528 multiplied with 4.7 divided by 4.7 plus 1.5 plus 1.528. So it is coming as 1.842. So 1.842. So this circuit now got reduced to 3.3 kilo ohm, and here it's coming as 1.842. So now easily it is A and it is B. So if we look the resistance from here, so these two resistance are in series. So the equivalent resistance will be 3.3 plus, just one, So 3.3 plus 1.842, so it will come as 5.142 kilo ohm. So this is nothing but the RTH, that is the Thevenin resistance. So what we have done, I am just revising it. So voltage source we make it short and current source we make it open. So the equivalent circuit reduced to this. Now we are finding the equivalent resistance looking through AB. So what I have told, that if any current flows through it, and then it will, here it is dividing like I1. So basically it is I1, it is I2, it is I3 and I4. So I3 and I4. So basically this I3 and I4, this current is dividing, and then this I3 here the I4 will flow through here, it will come as I4, and I4 and I3 will again make I2, and I2 and I1 again makes I. So basically this resistance is in parallel with the rest of the circuit, and similarly this resistance is parallel with this resistance. So at first we found out that what is the resistance till this position, that is this 5k parallel with 2.2k, and we found out that 1.528, and the rest of the circuit remains same, so 1.5 and 4.7 and 3.k. Now this circuit, because here the current divides and here the current then again joins, so basically this 4.7k is in parallel with these two resistance. These two is in series because the current is flowing is the same. So that we found out the value till this point is 1.842. So now this 1.842 and the rest of the circuit remains same, 3.3, and now these two becomes in series. So the equivalent resistance nothing but RTH is 5.142 kilo ohm. So according to this, the answer will be 5.14. So do you have any question or doubt? Then you can ask, or you can raise your hand, stop me anytime. I will be more than happy to answer. Okay, so I will move forward. So now it is asked like in the circuit of question 1, what is the maximum power that can be transferred to the load resistance RL? So always remember one thing, that whenever there is, if any circuit is reduced to VTH and here it is RTH, the maximum power transfer will happen when this resistance RL is equal to the Thevenin equivalent resistance. So it is so basically you remember one thing, suppose there is any VTH and here you have Thevenin equivalent resistance which is a complex number, and here you have to match with any complex resistance. So always remember one thing, that this this Thevenin equivalent resistance will be the complex conjugate of the ZL, or the in the other way we can say that ZL will be the complex conjugate of the Thevenin resistance. Always remember this thing. Don't remember this thing, RL equal to RTH, because it is a specific case. Suppose it is a instead of complex number it is a real number. Suppose in any question the Thevenin resistance comes out like 4 minus 3j, then the question might be asked that what should be the ZL value so that the maximum power transfer will happen. So it will be like 4 plus 3j, that is the complex conjugate. Complex means this minus will turn to plus. So always remember this thing. ZTH will be nothing but the complex conjugate of ZL and vice versa. So this thing RL equal to RTH is a special case of this ZTH equal to ZL star, because suppose ZTH comes out at 4 ohm, so 4 is nothing but 4 plus 0j, so ZL will be 4 minus 0j, which is 4. So it is a special case that RL equal to RTH. But always remember this thing, that Thevenin equivalent resistance will be the complex conjugate of the load resistance. So here we are, now we are in this question we are dealing with the real resistance only, not the complex resistance. So basically the RL is equal to RTH. So here now here it is asked like what is the maximum power that can be transferred to the load resistance. So we already found out the equivalent Thevenin resistance, and the Thevenin voltage. So according to this, the Thevenin voltage, Thevenin resistance is 5.142, 5 point, let us consider 14 this kilo ohm, and VTH according to question 1 is coming as 1.86 volt. So it is 1.86. So here it should always be 5.14 according to this maximum power transfer theorem. So now you can see that this voltage will divide equally in the two halves, that is here is one node and here is one node. The drop across this RL and drop across the RTH will be the same. So you can measure this VL easily. VL is equal to nothing but VTH by 2, that is 1.86 divided by 2, this volt. And what is the power through RL? That is nothing but voltage square divided by resistance. So 1.86 divided by 2 whole square, RL is 5.14 K. 5.14 K. So it will come around 0.17 milliwatt. So here is 0.17 milliwatt. This will be the correct answer. So any doubt regarding this question? If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. You can raise your hand, I will unmute you. Okay, this will definitely help you to solving the current assignment. So if you just stuck in somewhere or not clear in the concept, so it is a very basic thing. You should clear your fundamental first, otherwise it will create a lots of problem in ahead of the course. So okay, so I will move to question number 4. That is, in the circuit shown in figure, what is V2 when only Vs1 is considered? So basically this is a superposition theorem. So superposition theorem will always be applicable to the linear circuit. So linear means y equal to mx plus c, that is nothing but if there is x independent variable and there is y which is dependent variable and depends on x. So it is the y is depending on x in a linear format. If there will be y equal to 2x squared, then it will be non-linear because squared is there. So this is the non-linear, but this is the linear thing. So superposition theorem will always be applicable to the linear elements. So basically the these circuit elements are linear, so we can apply the superposition theorem here. So basically superposition theorem states that if we have multiple sources, then if we find any response, so response in terms of current or voltage suppose the current through a particular circuit element or the voltage across to a particular circuit element, that will nothing but the summation of the individual sources, considering the individual sources. So while we are just uh, while we consider the individual sources, make sure that the other sources are not activated, that is the deactivated. So here the same thing they are asking, that in the circuit shown in figure, what is V2? V2 the voltage across this thing. So this V2, when only Vs1 is considered, so only Vs1 is considered here, so what will be the V2? So it will be nothing but so when Vs2 and Is are deactivated. So I have already discussed that when the voltage source Vs2 is deactivated, then it will be a short circuit, and when current source will be deactivated, it will be open circuit. So I am drawing the diagram with keeping the Vs1 activated and rest of the things are with deactivated. So basically this is 10 volt, this is 4K, and this part is open circuit because it is a current source. Here we have some resistance, that is 2K. Here we have some resistance which is 2K, and this part is the voltage source, so it will be short. So we need to find out the voltage across this, which is V2 across this node. So easily we can use the KCL and we can find out. So how? So according to the KCL, the current exiting, the summation of the current exiting from a node is equal to the current entering into the node, same node. So basically we can write, so the current flowing through this part, that is I1 is nothing but V2 minus 10 divided by 4 plus this current, that is the I2, that is V2 divided by 2 plus this current which is I3, so that will be V2 divided by 2 is equal to 0. So here you can say V2 by 4 plus V2 by 2 plus V2 by 2 is equal to 10 by 4. I am keeping in this side. So basically it is 4, it will be V2, 2V2, 2V2 is 10 divided by 4. So we can write this as 5V2 by 4 is equal to 10 by 4. So 4 cancels out and 5 and 10 is cancelled out to 2. So V2 is nothing but 2 volt. So here the answer will be the 2 volt due to Vs1. Remember, this is due to Vs1. So this current source is not activated and this current source is not considered. That voltage source is not considered. That means the voltage is in the short circuit and this current source is open circuit. So similar to this, the next question is what is the value of V2 when only the Vs2 is considered? So we can do the same thing, that is this voltage source, that will be the short circuit, the current source, that will be the open circuit. Okay, so here it has 4K, here it is open circuit, so here it will be 2K, here is 2K, and here it is 8 volt. So similarly we have to find the value of V2. So we will apply this similarly the KCL on this node. So the current flowing in this direction, there is no sources there, so here it has the potential V2, so V2 by 4 plus the current flowing through this time, this I1 is V2 plus 4 and this I2 is V2 by 2 plus the current flowing in this side, considered is I3, that will be nothing but V2 minus 8 because there is a positive source, here it is plus, so V2 minus 8, that is the net voltage applied and that will be flow this side. Why? Because V2 we have considered V2 to be greater than 8, so V2 minus 8 divided by 2 is equal to 0. So V2 by 4 plus V2 by 2 plus V2 by 2 is nothing but 8 by 2. So here it will come 4 V2 plus 2 V2 plus 2 V2 is equal to 8 by 2. Just 1 second. So it will be 5 V2 by 4 is equal to 8 by 2. 2 and 2 cancels out. So V2 will be 16 divided by 5. So 16 divided by 5 will nothing but 3.2 volt. So here in the answer it will be answer D, that is 3.2 volt. So till this, do you have any question regarding something? If you have, please raise your hand. Gautam, any question?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So moving forward, the similar thing. Now we are considering only the IS to be activated and the rest of the thing are deactivated. So VS1 and VS2 will be. So VS1 and VS2 will be deactivated. So when the voltage source is deactivated, it will be short. So here it is short. So here it will be like 4K. This is 1 milliampere. There is one more resistance, that is 2K. Here we have 2K, and similarly this will replaced by short circuit. Okay, so this is short circuit and this is short circuit. So now we have to find out this voltage, that is V2. So see, these two nodes are same because there are no element between these. So so we can write the same KCL like the current flowing through this direction, that is V2. These two nodes have the same potential V2. Here it also the V2, the same thing. So V2 divided by 4 plus this thing, that is V2 divided by 2 plus this thing, that is V2 divided by 2 is equal to the current entering. So 1 milliampere is basically entering, so 1. So here it will be 1, so 4, it will be V2 plus 2V2 plus 2V2 is equal to 1. So 5V2 by 4 is equal to 1. So V2 is basically 4 divided by 5. So 0.8 volt. So it will come 0.8 volt. So you understood the this thing. This is the same thing, same concept. So we are using only a basic KCL and KVL, and then actually we are following the superposition principle. So basically superposition theorem tells that suppose you have this problem, this circuit, so you have to find out the voltage V2. So now the V2, when all Vs1, Vs2 and Is all are activated, then the voltage will nothing but the summation of the all individual things. So 2 volt plus 3.2 volt plus 0.8 volt. So it is 2 volt, 2 volt plus 3.2 volt plus 0.8 volt. So this is basically 6 volt. So the V2 will come 6 volt when all three sources, may it be a current source or may it be a voltage source, all are activated. So this is the basic superposition principle. Okay. Now I am moving to question 7. Here basically this is the same circuit and they are asking that use the superposition to find V2, that we have already found out that it is a 6 volt, and from this result you should find the value of the V1. So basically this is 10 volt, here we have 4K, here we have 1 milliampere, here we have 2K, this is also 2K, and this is 8 volt. So this voltage you have already found out due to these three sources. This is coming as 6 volt. 6 volt, that means this is 6 volt referred to this potential. This is the ground, that is 0. If this is 0 volt, this is the 6 volt. So now these two nodes are same, I have already told you, because there is no circuit element. So this all throughout this there is a 6 volt. So now they are asking what is the value of V1. So you should apply the KVL notation. So 10 volt minus, because so KVL basically if we are moving from this side to this side. So if this we are considered plus, it is sorry. So if we considered it as plus, that is the 10 volt, this. So here see due to this V1 the current will flow in this side, due to this 10 volt the current will flow in this side, so it is opposing basically. So you should minus, so minus V1, because you are moving to this direction, so you are considering the current flow to this direction. So 10 volt, because it is pushing the current in this direction, but V1, this is a voltage across this direction, so minus V1 is nothing but this volt, that is 6 volt. So V1 is 10 minus 6, that is 4 volt. So here the answer will be the 4 volt. So this is the basic concepts, the KVL, what you are applying throughout the loop. So you can also write this equation like this: 10 minus 6 minus 10 minus V1 minus 6 is equal to 0, because this 10 volt will pushing current in this direction, this V1 will pushing this direction, and this 6 volt, that means this current will flow in this direction, so that will be minus. Here it is minus, here it is minus, then it is 0. So similarly you can find this as a 4 volt. So if you have any question, please ask. Okay, so till this I think it's okay. So I am moving forward to the next question, that is question 8. So here one circuit is shown where there is a GV1. So it is nothing but a dependent source. So dependent source, you should know what is the dependent source. So there are four types of dependent source, that is voltage control current source, voltage control voltage source, current control current source, and current control voltage source. So here, so what is the voltage control current source? Suppose in the circuit element there is one voltage V1, and suppose there is a, so the dependent source is represented using this format. If it is current source, then it will be, we will consider this thing, and if it is a voltage source, then we will represent this thing. So basically, so basically this is a, so basically this is a current source. So it will be either current control current source or current control voltage source, but here it is written as GV1. That means this current source is depending on V1. V1 means voltage. So V1 is what? This voltage. So this current source is depending on this voltage. So this is voltage control current source. So this is basically a current source which is depending on the voltage in any of the element. So here it is V1. So it's depending on V1, and this is basically a current source. So whenever we come across this type of problem, so now here in the circuit element we have the value of G, which is 0.5 milliohm. Then we need to find the value of the I2. So the circuit is 4 milliampere, then it is 1K, this is the V1, this is the 2K, this is GM into V1, that means 0.5 into V1. This milliampere, why milliampere? Because GM is given as millimho, that is known as mho. That is for the resistance we use ohm. 1 upon resistance is nothing but the conductance, that we are that the unit of this is ohm inverse. That is ohm inverse means we write this as mho, mho, or Siemens, we can also call it Siemens. So this is that is the millisiemens into 0.5. So it sorry, millisiemens into V1, so that turns into a current source, so milliampere. And here you have a 500 ohm resistance, 500 ohm resistance. So basically here it has one node V1. Consider this as V2. So we can write this current. So current, so we are using KCL over here. So V1 divided by 1, that is the current flowing in this direction, plus V1 minus V2, because here the potential is V2. So the net potential is V1 minus V2 divided by 2. So that current will flow in this direction, is nothing but the incoming current in this node. Incoming current is what? It is 4 milliampere. So it will be 4. So V1 plus V1 by 2 minus V2 by 2 is equal to 4. This is 3V1 by 2 minus V2 by 2 equal to 4. So this is 3V1 minus V2 is equal to 8. So this is one equation. So we are writing the KCL in this node. let us consider this node A, and let us consider this as node B. So this is node A, node A. So similarly for node B, so node B, so for node B, what you should write? Similarly in the node B, this current is entering, so V1 minus V2 divided by 2, the current entering, plus 0.5 V1, that current is also entering, so 0.5 V1 is equal to this current, so V2 divided by 500 ohm. 500 ohm means 0.5 kilo ohm, because rest of the things are in kilo ohm, so we are converting this as 0.5 kilo ohm. So that means this much milliampere current is flowing. This milliampere current here it is also milliampere, here it is also milliampere. So V1 minus V2 by 2 plus V1 divided by 2 is nothing but twice V2. So V1 by 2 plus V1 by 2 is nothing but twice V2 plus V2 by 2. So it will come like V1 is equal to 2 to 4. So 5 V2 divided by 2. So this is another equation. So this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Okay. So basically we need to solve the equation to get what is the value of V2, because this, so this sorry, we need to solve the equation so that we can get the value of V1 minus V2, so V1 and V2, and so we can easily find out the IT by I2 by V1 minus V2 divided by 2. So this I2 according to the question is nothing but V1 minus V2 divided by twice K. So to solve this question, so this is 5 V2 by 2. So we are putting this equation in here, equation the value of equation 2 in equation 1. So 3 into V1, which is 5 V2 by 2 minus V2 is equal to 8. So 15 V2 minus 2 V2 divided by 2 is equal to 8. So 13 V2 by 2 equal to 8. So V2 will be 16 divided by 13. So this is the value of the V2. Similarly for V1, so V1 is nothing but 5 by 2 into V2. So V1 is equal to 5 by 2 into V2. So it will be 2 and 16 cuts out, it will be 5 into 8, 40 divided by 13. So this is the value of the V1. So now what is the value of the current I2? I2 is V1 minus V2 divided by, so current, that is the I2 is V1, that is 40 by 13 minus 16 by 13 divided by 2K, that is 24 divided by 13 into 2, that much milliampere. 2 and this cuts out to be 12. So it will come 12 by 13, so it will come nearly 1, so 0.92 milliampere. So the correct answer will be 0.92 milliampere. So I hope you all understood this problem. Any question till this point? Okay. So for the same question they are asking what is the value of the I3. So it is easy to find out because we have already found out the value of the this V naught, which is the V2. So V2 is basically 16 by 3. So here V2 is equal to 16 by 3. So here the voltage is nothing but 16 by 3. So I3 will be V2 divided by R3. 16 by 3 divided by 0.5. 16 into 2 divided by 3. So sorry, one thing, this will be 13. So 16 by 13. So 16 into 2 by 13, that is 32 by 13. So 32 divided by 13, it will come across 2.46 milliampere. So it will be problem this. So it was linked to the previous question. So we have already found out V2. So easily we can find out I3 by this voltage divided by this resistance, whatever the current is flowing. Okay. So till this point, do you have any question? Okay. If you don't have any question, then I am moving forward. This is the question number 10. In the circuit shown in figure VA, this is VA means the potential at node A, that is called the VA. So VA is given by K1 V1 plus K2 V2 plus K3 V3 plus K4 V4. So what is the value of K1 and K4? So you should understand this notation. Actually, basically in analog electronics we use this notation. This V1 means this, the voltage on this node with reference to the ground node is V1. So basically, suppose you have any voltage source 5 volt and you have any resistance 2 ohm, and so basically this thing you represent as, this is 5 volt and here is one resistance 2 ohm and this part is ground. That means this voltage with refer to the ground is 5 volt. So this notation we generally use in case of analog electronics. You can actually in the next lectures you can see the transistor model or transistor common emitter transistor analysis. So where you can see that it is very convenient to use the node voltage notation, that is this type of notation in the circuit. So basically here it is asking that what is K1 and K2. So we use the superposition theorem, the same thing that we have already applied previously. So superposition tells like, if we will consider only V1, only V1 is activated and rest of the things are deactivated. Deactivated means that V3 will be ground, V4 will be ground and V2 will be ground. So the circuit becomes 1K, this is 1K, this is 2K and this is 1K. So this is all the things are in ground and this is V1 which is activated. So you should see that the current flowing through this direction divides into 3 parts. So basically you can consider this as like this. There is 1 kilo ohm. Through the same point you have another 2 kilo ohm. Through the same point you have 1 1 kilo ohm, and all goes to ground. So here it is V1, here it is 1 kilo ohm. So basically this 1 kilo ohm, so this 1 kilo ohm, 2 kilo ohm and 1 kilo ohm are in parallel. So the equivalent resistance till this point, the equivalent resistance, that is R dash, will be 1 by R dash is equal to 1 by 1, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 1 kilo. So you know that this right, the for the how to find out the equivalent resistance for the parallel resistors. So it will be like 2 plus 1 by 2, that is nothing but R dash inverse. So it will be 5 by 2. So R dash will be 2 by 5. So R dash will be like this. Now you have the circuit 1 kilo ohm, 2 by 5 kilo ohm, and here you have V1. So you need to find out this voltage. This is node A. You understood, right? This node is basically this node. These three are same. Just one second. Okay, Virendra, do you have any question? Yes, please. One second. Yeah. Yeah, Virendra, tell me. Hello. Hello. Gautam, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, so if you have any question, you can please ask. Yeah. So where I was like, oh, okay. So it is 1 kilo ohm and it is 2.5 kilo ohm, and this is the node A. So VA. So I have already taught you like the current, voltage division rule. So it will be V1 into this voltage, which is 2 by 5, divided by the total voltage, that is 2 by total resistance 2 by 5 plus 1.1, 1 plus 2 by 5. So it is V1 into 2 by 5 divided by 7 by 5. So it's nothing but 2V1 divided by 7. 5 cancels out. So 2V1 by 7. So it is for V1. So similarly, we need to find the value of K1. So we can write out, according to the superposition principle, VA will be K1 into V1. So when V1 is activated, that is 2 by 7 V1 plus, now we need to find out the K2 in the similar manner, K2 V2 plus K3 V3 plus K4 V4. So now so here they are asking about only the K4, so I am considering this V4 part which is related to the V4, so V4 part which is related to the K4. So V1 is deactivated, which is 1K, here also 1K, here also 1K, and these things are ground, and here you have 2K, and here you have V4. So in the similar manner, you can see this 1K kilo ohm, this 1 kilo ohm, and this 1 kilo ohm are in parallel. So what will be the equivalent resistance? So 1 divided by R dash is equal to 1 by 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1 by 1, that is 1K. Okay. So 1 by R dash is nothing but the 3. So R dash will be 1 by 3. So now you can see this 1 by 3. So this circuit you can write in this way, which is 1 by 3, 2, here it is V4, and here it is grounded. So what is the voltage across it? VA is nothing but V4 into 1 by 3 divided by 1 by 3 plus 2. So V4 into 1 by 3 divided by 3 to the 6 plus 1, 7 by 3. 3 cancels out. So it will be V4 divided by 7. So just one second. Okay. So you can write this equation. This VA is nothing but 2 by 7 V1 plus K2 V2 plus K3 V3 plus 1 by 7 into V4. So this is basically the K1 and this is basically the K4. So here K1 is 2 by 7, K4 is 1 by 7. So correct answer is answer B. Okay. So these are some basic problems. So if you find any difficulty, you can ask. Otherwise, in the next tutorial also, I can discuss if you have any doubts. So actually you should be able to solve yourself. So in this question, you should also find out what is the value of K2 and what is the value of K3 in the similar manner. So you can do it yourself also. So I am going to the next problem. The current I in the circuit shown in the figure is plotted versus the voltage V, which gives the straight line. What is the intercept of the straight line on the V axis? So here the circuit is like this is the 1 milliampere. Here we have 2K. Here you have 1K. Plus minus V, and that is I. This point is A and this point is B. Okay. So they are asking that the current I versus V, what is the plot? So basically the current is flowing, here is I, and here it has one node. So from here you can see some current is dividing, some current is flowing here and some current, rest of the current is flowing through here. So this current you can find out, this is 1 milliampere. So basically this is 1 milliampere, and if you consider I as milliampere, then here the current is flowing I minus 1 milliampere. Rest of the current will flow through this. So this I minus 1 milliampere multiplied by 1 kilo ohm is the voltage across this point. So I minus 1, this much milliampere into 1, that is the resistance, that will come as this voltage, and this voltage is nothing but this voltage because these two are the same nodes. So this is nothing but the V, or we can see I minus 1 is equal to V. So I is equal to V plus 1. So this is one equation. So what they are telling, the current I in the current axis in the figure plotted versus the voltage V, which gives a straight line, find the intercepts. So so now you need to plot. So this is the voltage axis, that is here it has the independent variable which is the voltage, and here you have current which is nothing but the dependent variable. Just one second. So I is nothing but V plus 1, that means I equal to V plus 1. This line refers to this. You know, right? Y equal to mx plus c. This curve, this is, if this is x, this is y, it should be y equal to mx plus c, where c is the intercept, where it has cutting this point, that is 0 comma c. This point is the intercept. So similar to this, I equal to V plus 1, this curves is like this. So this is the positive, this is the positive quadrant, positive axis, this is negative, and this is positive. Okay, so I equal to V plus 1, so this curve looks like this, and now it is telling that what is the intercept of this straight line on the V axis. That means this point, what is the intercept of this? So here you can see the current value is 0, I is equal to 0. So you put I equal to 0 in this equation. So I equal to 0, so at V intercept, V axis intercept, I equal to 0 equal to V plus 1. So V is equal to minus 1. So this point is basically minus 1 comma 0. That means minus 1 voltage and 0 current. So here it will be the correct answer. So what is the intercept of the straight line on the V axis? So it will cut in this point, so which is nothing but the minus 1. So the voltage is minus 1. The next question is, in the plot 11, what is the intercept on the I versus V line on the I axis? So it is it's the same question. They are asking that what is the value of I when the voltage is 0. This is 0, right? The voltage is 0. So you should put the same thing, that is I equal to, we know, V plus 1. So now for this part, V is equal to 0, 0 plus 1. So I will nothing but 1 milliampere. So I will be 1 milliampere. So here it will be 1 milliampere. So it is a very basic problem. So anyone have any question till this point? Virendra, do you have any question? You can unmute and tell. Virendra?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, tell me.
Actually, sir, I have joined this session very late.
Okay.
After 20 to 25.
Yeah.
सर तो थोड़ा सा इसका सर मेरे को ये जो आपने समझाया, क्या इसका कुछ ऑडियो मिल सकता है या वीडियो, जैसे कोई भी ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट?
Definitely. Actually, I will upload this in the YouTube channel, and the link of the YouTube channel and also the notes that will be shared by the NPL team to you. If they have not shared, then I will in the next class I will share it, the link from where you can access that. Okay. So Virender, one thing, you try to understand the rest of the parts so that it will come easy to solve the assignments or something. Or if you have any doubt, basic doubts or something, you can clear it also.
Okay, sir. Okay, please.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So okay. So moving to the next question. If a resistance is connected between A and let's see if I missed. No. Okay. So if a resistance is connected between A and B in the circuit of question 11, okay, what value of R will maximize the power absorbed by R? Okay, so if a resistance is connected between A and B in the circuit, so what value of R will maximize the power absorbed? So it is basically a maximum power transfer theorem. So according to the maximum power transfer theorem, I already told you the maximum power transfer will happen only when the ZL, that is the load resistance, should be the complex conjugate of the Thevenin resistance. So for real case, if ZL is real, then this part becomes RL and this will become RTH. So RL equal to RTH is an extension of this formula. So you should always remember this formula. ZL should be equal to complex conjugate of the ZTH. So basically, if a resistance is connected across A, B in the circuit 11, which value of R will maximize? So you should find out the Thevenin voltage and also the Thevenin resistance. So for Thevenin voltage, for VTH, calculating the VTH. So what is happening? This 1 milliampere current that will flow in this direction. I am just redrawing the circuit. 1 milliampere. This is 2 kilo ohm. This is 1 kilo ohm. And here you have voltage A, B, and this is the current I. Okay. So what I am telling that, so basically this 1 milliampere current will flow in this direction. So when it will flow through is 1 kilo ohm, so it will create a voltage drop over here. So basically this current is flowing in this direction, so here it will be plus and here it will be minus. So this value, suppose we are saying this as V1, so V1 will be 1 milliampere into 1 kilo ohm, which is nothing but 1 volt. So this V is nothing but minus V1 because this potential is in this direction, that is plus this direction minus this direction, and this is the opposite of that. So V will be the minus 1, so it will be the minus 1 volt. So Thevenin equivalent voltage is minus 1 volt. So basically this minus 1 volt means if you just representing the circuit like this, RTH and VTH. So if it comes out like it is minus 1, that means nothing but this plus and minus sign will be the opposite in the circuit. So you will go with some convention like this VTH, and if it comes out to be negative, that means in the original circuit this should be minus and there it should be plus. Okay, so basically this VTH is equal to minus 1 volt. This is one thing. Okay, so RTH is what is the value of the RTH? So for calculating the value of the RTH, I have already told you, like this current source should be the open circuit. Here it is 2K, here it is 1K, and here it is A and B. So if any current flow in this direction, that no current will be flowing through the 2K ohm because it is open circuit. Here it is open circuit. So here the current is equal to 0, that is no current flow through this. So the entire current will flow through this direction. So only 1 kilo ohm will appear as Thevenin resistance. So RTH is nothing but 1 kilo ohm. So you got the value of VTH and RTH. So that equivalent circuit can be considered as minus 1 volt according to our convention, 1 kilo ohm, and here this is point A, this is point B. One second, just one second. Okay, so this is point A and this is point B. It is a minus 1 volt. So here we can rewrite the circuit as this. Now we can write is at 1 volt, that means the voltage is in this direction, 1 kilo ohm. So now according to the maximum power transfer theorem, the resistance that need to be the same of RTH, that means it should also be 1 kilo ohm. So if it's also 1 kilo ohm, so the voltage will come as 0.5 volt here and rest of the 0.5 volt here, according to the voltage division law, because these two are same, so you can easily calculate is 0.5 volt. So now the maximum power that can be, so this is RL, the maximum power that can be delivered in this load will be V square divided by 1. So it will be like 0.25. Let me see once. Yeah. So 0.525 milliwatt. Okay. So here it is asking that what value of R will maximize the absorbed power. So we have already calculated that if RTH equal to 1 kilo ohm, then that will maximize the power. So it will be the 1 kilo ohm. And in the next question, that is asking what is the maximum power that can be delivered to the resistor. So we have already calculated that will be 0.25 milliwatt. So this will be 0.25 milliwatt. Okay. So till this, do you have any question? Virender, your hand is already raised. If you have another question, you can ask, or you can drop down your hand. Okay. Okay, if you don't have any question, then I will move forward to the next part. That is, what is the phasor corresponding to the voltage Vt 5 cos omega t minus 53 degree? So you need to understand when we use the phasor. So basically, the phasor is when we analyze the sinusoidal steady state of any particular circuit, then we use the phasor to simplify our problem. That means here, if you have any sinusoid, suppose V equal to Vm cos omega t. So if you have any voltage, so basically, one second. This is cos, right? So it will come from here. Okay. Okay. So this is the Vm cos omega t, V, and it is, if this is omega t. So this is a sinusoid signal, and its average value is always 0. So if we use this kind of source instead of a DC source, then the for any resistor or inductor or capacitor at time t equal to infinity, the voltage or the current that appears, that will also be a sinusoid. So that can be phase shifted or not phase shifted. Phase shifted means this is cos omega t, so there it is not shifted. But if we, so V equal to Vm cos omega t, so in the phasor form, if you can see, this is VL and this is imaginary part. So Vm cos omega t can be represented as this point. So it is angle is 0 degree. Here it can be represented as Vm angle of 0 degree, and this magnitude is nothing but the Vm. So suppose if you have this thing that V equal to Vm cos omega t plus 45 degree, that means if you have the same magnitude as this, and this angle will be 45 degree. So we use this phasor form to actually make our problem more simpler. So basically here it is asking that if you have Vt is equal to 5 cos omega t minus 53 degree. So what is the phasor corresponding this voltage? So here that means this can be represented as VL equal to 5 at an angle of minus 53 degree, which is nothing but 5 e to the power j theta, means minus 53 degree. Okay, so minus 53 degree can be written as 0.29 pi. So we should always consider this as radian, because before expanding this, that means 53 divided by 180 degree. So it will be like 5 cos minus 0.29 pi e to the sorry, mistake, plus sorry. So e to the power j theta, that can be expanded as cos theta plus j sin theta, and e to the power minus j theta, that can be expanded as cos of, here it will be, instead of theta you just put minus theta, so it will be cos minus theta is basically cos theta, and it will be minus j sin theta. So cos plus 0.29 pi minus j sin 0.29 pi. So you calculate this thing. So cos 0.295 is 0.6, so 5 into 0.6, this will be in bracket because we are expanding only this, minus j into sine 53.8, so it will be 3 minus 4j. So the correct answer will be 3 minus 4j volt. Okay, so it is the last question of the assignment 1. So what is the impedance Z in the figure if the frequency is 50 gigahertz? So frequency is given as 50 hertz, sorry, 50 hertz only. So 50 hertz, and we are looking through this terminal, the Z. So if we look through this terminal, I already told you, like the current is flowing in this direction, that current will divide in this part and this part. That means if I current is flowing this part, I1 is this part and I2 is this part, the I1 and I2 becomes joints, and the same current I flow from this part. So A and B, so these I1 and I2, this R and L will be in parallel because the current is dividing and then again joining. So this in the phasor form, this L can be written as j omega L, and this R can be referred as R. So R and j omega L are in parallel. So basically the equivalent resistance, which is nothing but Z, is equal to R parallel of j omega L. So R is 8 ohm, that is 8 parallel with j. Omega means 2 pi into F into L. L means 20. So 8 parallel of j into 2 pi into 50 hertz into 20 10 to the power minus 3. So it will come as 8 parallel with, so this value is nothing but 100 pi. So this is so I am calculating this thing, 8 into this is 20, so j into 100 pi into 20 into 10 to the power minus 3, and this part is cancel out, so 8 into 8 parallel with, sorry, 8 parallel with j 2 pi, so that means 8 into j 2 pi divided by 8 plus j 2 pi, so 16 j pi, 8 plus j 2 pi. So we are multiplying with the complex conjugate, that is 8 minus j 2 pi, and it is 8 minus j 2 pi. So it will come around uh, j 32 pi square plus j into 8 into 16 pi, and in the down it comes about 64 plus 4 pi square, whatever, you should calculate it on your own, and it will come around 3.05 plus 3.89. So it will be 3.05 plus j 3.8. So answer C will be the correct answer. So do you have any doubt regarding this session or something? Because it was the last assignment question, I will solve one extra problem also, one interesting problem. So before that, do you have any doubt regarding what we have taught today? So anything do you have? Virender, is it fine or anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So basically, I want to solve one interesting problem. So equivalent resistance, you have to find the equivalent resistance. So suppose this is circuit 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 1 ohm, like that. You have infinite times. So what is the equivalent resistance looking through A and B? So this type of problem is known as infinite ladder. That means it is infinite times 1 ohm resistance. This sequence is followed infinite times, and you have to find out that equivalent resistance. What will be the equivalent resistance that can be seen from this side A and B? So basically, see one thing, that this sequence, that is 1 ohm, this 1 ohm, this, that is just repeating each and every time. So suppose we are seeing from this side, so and consider this thing as RL. So you can modify the circuit as RL, this is 1 ohm and this is 1 ohm. So similarly, if so there are 1 ohm infinite times it is repeating. So if we add if we see from this side, then also it will come as same, because this 1 ohm that will be also infinite times. So in this type of problem, if we just remove one part, that is this part is repeating in each and every time, so if we add or subtract one or two parts, then it will remain the same. So basically from here, if we also see this 1 ohm, then here it is 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 1 ohm, and this kind of thing is infinite time. So this will also be the RL. So from here, if we see that, that will also come as a RL. So this RL will be equal to this 1 ohm resistance, because the current is flowing through this part and this part, this 1 ohm resistance parallel with the 1 plus RL. So it will come like 1 into 1 plus RL divided by 1 plus 1 plus RL. So it will be 1 plus RL divided by 2 plus RL. So multiply with this, 2RL plus RL square equal to 1 plus RL. If we move RL in this side, RL square plus RL minus 1 equal to 0. So RL will be minus B plus minus B square minus 4AC by 2A. You know this formula. So minus B means minus 1. B is the coefficient of this thing, RL, that is 1, plus minus root over B square. B square means this 1 square. So 1 minus 4 into A. A means the coefficient of this. So RL square coefficient is 1 into C. C means this part. So this part is minus 1 divided by twice into A. A means coefficient of RL square, which is 1. So it will be like minus 1 plus minus root over 1 plus 4 divided by 2. So minus 1 plus minus root over 5 divided by 2. So RL is actually a practical element, so that cannot be a negative number. Just wait. Okay, so that cannot be a negative number. So RL should be, so root 5 is larger than minus 1, so it should be minus 1 plus root 5, otherwise it will turns out to be minus. As RL register cannot be a negative, because it's an element, right? It has some value, so it will be plus. We are considering plus root 2. So whatever the answer, that will come as RL. So in this way, we need to solve this equivalent resistance problem, particularly this infinite ladder series problem. This is known as infinite ladder. So okay, so basically one more small thing I want to discuss, that is, and then I will end the session, that is the power delivered and power absorbed. Suppose you have a voltage source, that is 10 volt, and the current is flowing in this side, that is, consider it as suppose 2 ampere. So it is flowing from minus to plus side, that means the power is delivering. So it is delivering the power, because this 10 volt source is delivering this 2 ampere power. So power delivered is equal to V into I. V into I, that means 10 volt into 2, that is 20 watt. So this delivered power, we generally put a negative sign, that means the power which is delivered, it is a convention, like we put it negative. Similarly, suppose 10 volt source and this 2 ampere current is flowing this side, that is plus to minus side opposite to this thing. So then we will see that the power absorbed, that is how much power is absorbing. So absorbed power is nothing but the similar thing 2i, that the vi, that is 10 into 2, that is 20 watt. So that we considered always as positive thing. So similarly for the current source also, suppose we have a current source in this direction 2 ampere, and across the current source this 10 voltage, if it appears as 10 volt, then also the power delivered will be nothing but 2 ampere into 10, that is 20 watt, and that will be the negative because it is delivering the power. Similarly, if there is a current source and here the voltage across it comes out to be this, then it will be nothing but the power absorbed, and we can represent this as positive. So the interesting thing is that in a complete circuit, total circuit, the power delivered is equal to the power absorbed. So it is the conservation of power principle. Whatever power is delivered, that much power is absorbed. So I will show a simple example. Suppose here it has 10 volt, you have 2 ohm, and suppose you have 8 volt over here. So the net current we are considering is in flowing this direction. So the net current I, which is I, that I can be written as 10 minus 8 divided by 2. That means 2 divided by 2, it cuts out to be 1 ampere. So 1 ampere current is flowing in this direction. So 1 ampere current is flowing all through the circuit like this manner. So basically this 1 ampere is entering again this way, means minus to plus. So for 10 volt, the power is 10 into 1, which is 10 watt, and by so this is the actually normal convention we are considering is as negative because it is delivering the power. So this is delivering. Similarly, this 1 ampere current is flowing in this direction. So here it will be a voltage drop. The voltage drop will be what? 2 ohm into 1 ampere, that means 2 volt. That is 2 volt. So the power across 2 ohm will be, this 1 ampere current is flowing through here. So current 1 ampere into voltage is 2 volt. You can find it through this, that is V into I, or you can find it like I square into R or V square by R, any formula. I square R means current 1 square into 2, or V square by R means 2 square divided by 2. Similarly, it will come 2 watt. So this we consider positive because here the source is the voltage is this side, it is flowing from positive terminal to negative terminal. Here it was flowing negative to positive, so we are considering it as negative, that is delivering power, and here it is absorbing the power, so we are considering is a positive. Similarly, the power across 8 volt, so here the current 1 ampere is flowing. So again, similar to this resistance, this 1 ampere is flowing from positive to negative, so it will be the absorbing power. So 8 volt into 1 ampere, so it will be 8 watt. So that is also to be positive, that is basically absorbing power. So the total power according to this power conservation theorem, total power should be 0. So total power means P due to 10 volt, P due to 10 volt plus P due to 2 ohm plus P due to 8 volt, that should be 0. So P due to 10 volt is nothing but minus 10 watt plus 2 plus 8. So it is minus 8 plus 2. So it is total power comes out to be 0. This is the power conservation theorem. So this is the basic thing. So in any circuit, maybe it is asked that in a particular circuit, maybe suppose in this circuit they may ask that what is the power across this R2, will it be delivering or it will be absorbing power, or any source also they can ask that here it is delivering or absorbing power. So like that the question may be asked. Okay, so that's all for today's session. So I hope you all understood. If you have any doubt, any kind of doubt, so you can raise your hand, so I will unmute you and you may speak. So I am ending this session right now. So we will meet in the next Tuesday in the usual time, like 6 to 8. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you.